What's going on, DZ team? It's Z here. Welcome back to another video, and in today's video we're going to be answering one of your comments that you left on my YouTube video. And this comment is by Yvani, I don't know how to pronounce it, but that kind of name, and we'll post it up here on the screen for you to see. The question states, what do you think about doing one-on-one training as opposed to a group of people? Is there a good reason? I don't see this a lot. Well, we're gonna answer it today, and when we answer this today, I'm gonna bring a friend of mine that you've also seen him on the channel. His name is Jazz Davis. He runs Modern Gladiator, and when we pop him up here in a second, he's gonna introduce himself for you.
Welcome to Dropzone Tactical, live from supernatural. We train hands in God's pistol. Jesus in the middle of the overflow. Welcome to Dropzone Tactical.
All right, so this is Jazz Davis. We brought him in. He is a seasoned business owner of Modern Gladiator.
Well seasoned.
You may have seen him in our videos plenty of times before, but now this time he's gonna help me answer this question in the group training aspect, and his insight, my insight, we're gonna volley back and forth. We may agree on some things, we may disagree on some things. So you get to get two brains in one video to answer your question. So Jazz, without further ado, go ahead and formally introduce yourself, a little bit about your background, who you are, what you do, your business, how you structure things.
Sure. So I say I'm well seasoned because I'm old. If you can't tell by all the gray. Been in the firearms industry for, I believe, 12 years this year, professionally, running and gunning and teaching people to not die, because that's what I like to do most of the time. As far as my forte, man, I specialize mostly in personal and home defense.
Gotcha. So the question came across with all that experience is because I know you and I have been doing private classes for a while.
Right.
And the question is, how come basically in the firearms industry, you don't see a lot of one-on-one training, but more group? And what are the pros and cons to each?
That's a good question, man. So I started off in a public range where most things were group classes, because like you said, they're pretty popular, right? And I really lean more towards the private one-on-one stuff. I do small groups. My preferred group is 4 or less, but I do a lot of couples and a lot of one-on-ones actually. And so one-on-one versus group classes, okay? I wouldn't say one is better than the other, because like you said, there's pros and cons to each. Let's talk group first. Is that fair?
Yeah.
Cool. Group classes. Benefit to a group class, you're held accountable. There's none of this, well, I didn't know, or whatever, because everyone gets the same amount of instruction, right? So you are forced to perform.
Right.
So that's a great thing for a group. But bad thing for a group is if you are more on the shy side, or you need a more like individualized approach, a group class might not be so great for you. Right. So there's like a little bit of a pro and a con on it. And you take the flip side of it with individual courses. Individual courses are great if you need a specific thing, right? Fantastic. Or if you just don't like people that much. Some people are like that. If you just don't like people that much, it's true. It's really good to be in a one-on-one class, because then it's dedicated to you. And like I said, I specialize more in that, right? And a big part of why I went that way with it is because get in trouble here.
Go for it.
Some instructors put filler material in their classes.
Looking at you.
Yeah, because we didn't talk about this earlier, right? So, hey, let me give a disclaimer. Whatever I say is on me and not on him. Is that fair? Because I don't want y'all mad at him. Some instructors put in filler information, as we know, right? They just want to fill the class in, so they put a bunch of stuff in there that's, I won't say it's not necessary, but it's just definitely not as important to the student.
Right.
I only teach you what you need to know, right? Not what you want to know, what you need to know. There's a difference. Some people want to learn to trick shot and do all this kind of stuff. Well, you don't really need to know that. You can go to somebody else to teach you that. I want to teach you what you need to know, which is not dying, right? So one of the beautiful things about the one-on-one is it takes the filler out of it, and you only learn what you need to know, and that's really important. Versus a group dynamic. Let's say you've been to a few different pistol courses and you need something between, I don't know, basic pistol and defensive pistol. You need somewhere in the middle there, right? Or sorry, you need a defensive pistol, but the group class is like people who are somewhere in the middle. So you have to endure some of that just to get to the things that you need. So there's one of the benefits to the one-on-one course versus the group course in that. I find that I get better results with small groups than with large groups, because you're not embarrassed to ask the questions that you don't know the answers to. We can really hone in on some things. And then, you know, like let's say the average class I teach is a 2-hour class. It may be 2+, because I'm not just going to force you out because your 2 hours is up. You might need a little bit more information on a particular topic. So
that little buffer period.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm a big fan of the one-on-one and the small group versus the group, but I do love a good group class when you have a good core group of people. And if I could say this, when we do a group class, those people have been vetted. So it's not just like when most people say a group course, it's a bunch of random people that just signed up. You don't know anything about their training methods or how they work or anything like that. When we say group course, everyone's been vetted. We know what different people can do different. And even though there's different skill levels, they are compatible. And that's really important. So if you're going to find a group course that's filled with compatible people. And that's kind of hard to find out whenever you don't know everybody in the course or you don't know the instructors. But if you choose an instructor that has the same kind of mentality as you and the same kind of lifestyle, so to speak, that group course is probably going to have the same type of people in it. So
It's a very great response. In addition to that, from my end of the things, I would agree with pretty much everything that you said. When you go to the one-on-one, which I've been doing for a while, but recently changing to the group structure main focus, I've been going back and forth for a couple of reasons. Now, in addition, going to the small groups like the couples and things like that is great, and I consider that the one-on-one style. You can meet the student at their level, right? Instead of being like, this is a curriculum, we're gonna start here and there, versus with group, it's like we have a curriculum to hit, and you can only move as fast as the weakest link.
there you go.
Because if somebody's finger on the trigger, but everybody else is nailing it, you have to focus on that person. You can't move to the running and gunning because they're being unsafe. So when you go to the one-on-ones or the privates, it's a little bit more catered to you. The instructor can invest into you more, which is kind of why I'm assuming you did it as well. But speaking on my end, I invest in my students, like I know Jazz does. What's your story? Why do you want to get self-defense training? And that's part of the vetting process that he was speaking about, is why do you want to be here? Why do you want to get training? Is it just to check a box, say I got my LTC kind of thing? Or is it because I really want to learn this stuff because protecting myself and my family is of highest priority in my life right now? That's the students that we kind of look for when it comes to getting training, and not just, I'm here to come and take a class, I'm John Wick after one class and never see you again. It's flipping that chapter in your life and finding that next step and moving forward in that industry like a martial art. You can't just do it one time and expect to be Jet Li or Bruce Lee or whomever your favorite martial artist is. Yeah, Bruce Leroy, whoever that is. That guy.
He ain't old enough to remember that.
I'm too young. But either way, in the one-on-one versus the groups, right? I'm now changing my structure to groups, but I'm doing it for a purpose. Similar to why you would do a firearms drill. It's for a specific purpose, a specific task, for a specific goal. Now, in the groups that I'm doing it for are typically like-minded individuals who want to learn these specific things. Now, I can't say the topics that I'm doing right now because I haven't released them. Unless you join our newsletter, you kind of know what I'm talking about, of the classes that I'm doing in group, because they're my secret sauce right now. But the idea behind it is to create communities, to create groups of people, because who are you going to call with another gun that has a similar training, if not better training than you, when somebody's kicking in your door with more than one person? Do you have a team? What does your spouse think of guns? Is your spouse trained? And if they're afraid of it, you only have one gun in the fight when somebody may have 4. I've had students in the past say, hey, I'm preparing for the end of the world and all these riots and stuff are scaring me. Great, but you're not fighting the Karen on the internet or the keyboard warrior on the internet talking about how you're doing something wrong. You're coming up against people like me and Jazz that need food, that need resources for our family, coming in with kit and tactics and stuff that trained. You're coming up with those kinds of people, and those kinds of people will fight and they know how to fight. Right? So think about your purpose, what you're trying to do with it. And so the groups trainings that I'm trying to do cater around that. And all different age groups. Age groups also kind of matter. They kind of matter based off how you can teach somebody, the lingo, and their attention span. The younger generations right now have a smaller attention span and may not have even made it to this point in the video right now. Right? The older generation may have that time to sit and listen a little bit longer, to endure this information and really grasp the concept, right? And some of you guys that are wanting to be instructors have to think about these things. What's the demographic that you're teaching, right? I'm typically one of the youngest guys in continued education instructor courses. Why? Because I see this as a need, but that also gives the advantage for the younger groups of people, right? The older guys, coming for the instructors is where I get in trouble now. The
I
older guys.
I got plenty to say about them instructors, so
Yeah.
go ahead.
The older guys that sell these group classes are typically selling very, very low and cheap. And I've talked about this in a video before. And they're doing that because they want a retirement fund. They want something that they can live off of and make money off of you with quantity, not quality. They go off of a curriculum.
And they don't care if you succeed.
Exactly.
I said it.
Yep.
They don't care if you succeed, man.
They do not.
That's why there's 30 of y'all packed into one class
Yep.
and one instructor. And yeah, sorry. Go ahead.
No, you're good. You're good. But that's exactly why. That's exactly why me and Jazz work together as well. Right? We care for our students. Not to say that you might not care for your student. You may care for your student, but how much do you care about your student? Is it enough to where you're going to sit with them an hour after class and answer their questions? Or is it going to be, we did our curriculum, it's time to go. Where's my money, right? I've talked to a lot of instructors building my business outside of you as well. They're like, you're not going to be a millionaire out of this. It took me 10 years to make this a full-time thing. I have multiple jobs because of this.
I've been doing pretty good. How about you?
I'm doing good, pretty good.
Doing pretty good.
Yep. And during
It's back to the quality of the instructor.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And during the slow seasons for some of the LTC classes, and this is going into the one-on-one versus group thing again, some instructors that I knew of were selling really like $70, $80 LTC courses, and ours are in like the $300 to $400 courses, multiple days. Right? That's time.
Sure.
That's more time. That's more money.
Sure.
And people were coming to us. Yeah. Why? Right? There's a disconnect somewhere between the money and the effort and the time versus the cheap and a lot of really quick service, right? So you got to think about those things whether you're trying to be an instructor or currently an instructor right now. It's time to change the game in the firearms industry.
It really is.
For that stuff. In your opinion, how do you feel that the one-on-ones has benefited your business compared to if you were to sell group, not vet them, and just have like kind of opening this range to the public, if you will, and doing groups like that?
I was always about vetting people. The people in charge were not. Guy shows up for a class one day because they didn't want us to vet anymore. Said, "Sir, what can I teach you today?" He said, "I want to learn to shoot people in the head." Well, I mean from a distance, right? Like that made it better.
Right.
That was the average person that would show up for a group class without vetting, without some inkling of why you are here, right? I didn't want to do that. So I strayed far away from that when I went out on my own because that's just something I'm not comfortable with. It. I'm not training. We teach at such a high level and we give such an excellent skill set. I can't just be giving that to the general public. Right. That would be a bad idea. That would be irresponsible of us as instructors, right? And so with that being said, it has benefited my business greatly to be more on the one-on-one side than the groups, because the people I train, they wholeheartedly want a better life. And I like to help them develop that. And so even though they're one-on-one lessons, those people come to me over and over and over. I've had the same students for many years because they like the way I teach. We're building a legacy. And we're not gatekeepers either. We don't teach in a way where, well, we give you just enough to, you got to come back next time and you got to, no, we don't do that. I give you the foundation from the very beginning, and you can ask anyone who's ever taken a course with us. I say, I hope you come back and train with us, but I don't care if you don't. If this isn't for you, that's more than fine. But I still want to give you the structure that you can go somewhere else and do this. So even if you ever never take another class, you at least know very strong foundations and fundamentals, right? So I think that's really important. How does that apply to the group dynamic? Had plenty of group classes, but they're with individual, and that's a good thing to bring up, right? The group courses we've had have been with one-on-one students as a group. You know, I can't think of too many strangers that we've had in any of our stuff. So
just
even
pulling
when
the one-on-ones into
pull them together, right?
To build the community.
Right. I will say this, and I'm talking to you. I'm talking to you. You know I'm talking to you right now. People sign up for group classes and don't show up because they get scared. Those strangers, they usually get scared when they realize that, oh, these guys have been training a little bit. And then you hear some weird excuses like the night before why they can't come, or they just don't show up in general. That's one thing I noticed with the group dynamic. They don't really, it weeds out some people, man. It does.
What
When
do you
it's
think-
at a good price point.
What do you
When
think
it's-
that comes from? What do you think the fear of showing up?
Cause you know you ain't been training. You been at home playing. You ain't been dry firing. You ain't been doing none of that stuff. You pick up your gun every once in a while because it's convenient. Or maybe you carry every day, but you don't even like clean the belly lint out of it, right? And then you know when you come here, we gonna find out. We gonna test you. I didn't shoot today. I haven't picked up a gun in a couple days, right? But I guarantee you I can perform on command. Why? Because I'm really in this stuff. And it's the same thing with the people who are afraid,
Yep.
right? They know they're gonna be put to the test. And if you are a husband, you gonna
Get him. Get him.
fire me, not him. I don't know, you know. Yeah,
I don't
probably
care.
sound bites or
I
something.
do
you know,
not
it's
care.
getting long, right?
Yeah.
If you are a husband and you send your wife, daughter, girlfriend out here by themselves, you are dead wrong. You are the kind of guy that don't show up and scared. Oh, I don't need training. She needs training. But every time, I won't say every time, but most
about-
of the time, I don't need training. Oh, really? Show me what you got. They either won't do it or it's low left or something ridiculous, right? But then those girlfriends, wives, sisters, daughters, we clean them up. We clean them up. And then they go home like, hey, look what I can do. And they get jealous.
Yep. And they
So-
don't want to do it no more.
Yeah, they don't want them doing it anymore. They didn't want them going. Look at my target. They don't want them going anymore. So, talking to you, if you disagree, show up. Show up. I'll provide the ammo. Show up with your gun. If you disagree with what I'm saying about the husband thing and the dynamic of that, and I'm just dead wrong, show up. Show up. But bring a witness and bring your camera.
We'll bring our camera. We'll do that.
We'll do that
We'll
too.
get in 4K.
Yeah. But I want to make sure they can go home with some of that.
Yep.
Cause I'm tired of it, man.
Yeah. Moving forward, as far as Modern Gladiator goes, for those people that are active instructors looking to improve, taking what we've had to say and are like, you know what, you're right. I need to change things up a little bit. I need to move things up. Whether it be going private or group, we've already talked about the pros and cons of that and how you can benefit or lose because of that, right? Because obviously, the more students you get, the more money you get in your pocket.
True.
It's just numbers, right? When you do one-on-ones, yeah, it may be less money. Not that you have to sell cheap necessarily, but less money because of people. It is more time with specific people and individuals to build that relation for hopefully long-term relationships. How do you feel like Modern Gladiator is moving forward 2026 based off the private group? You still doing that? Are you still keeping the same trajectory? Or are you changing things up?
Good question. I'll try to stay on topic. Okay. Quality versus quantity, always. Going forward, we're actually taking less students. I cut my pool in half last year, and then I cut it in half again in January. I'm taking less students. In another month, I'll be filled up for the rest of the year. I won't be taking any more students. If you're not serious, I don't want to train with you. If you're structuring your business as an instructor and you're trying to decide between group and one-on-one, I would recommend cutting your quantity in half and finding those that are truly dedicated to what they're doing and build up with those students. That will give you a foundation that's so strong that it will carry you on. But if you just have a bunch of people as a group dynamic that you don't know, most of them aren't going to come back. And the other half of them came because it was cheap. And then you're not going to have any students next month or the month after that. You're going to be looking for new students all the time. So if you're going to do group, I recommend getting your core group first and then building your groups.
Off who they know.
There you go. Because they will recommend good quality people. You know, birds of a feather kind of deal. So
And lastly, as far as, because I have you here, I want to ask you this question. As far as pricing structure goes, because I know a lot of people weed away from when money's on the table, don't like to talk about money, they want to run from it.
Sure.
That's hush hush.
Nah.
Right? How do you feel like an instructor, whether they choose private or group, start thinking about their own price points and whether they should sell cheap or should they be more expensive because Jazz and Jacob told them to on YouTube?
my price is my price because I believe in what I'm doing. I believe in my students. I believe in the outcome. I believe I can teach anyone at any skill level what they need to know. If they come to me for a specific task, I can teach them. that has a certain value to me. I didn't just pick a price out of the air and go, oh, I want to make, $300 on this. I didn't do that at all. I didn't start off cheap, to be honest with you. I started off what I consider to be reasonable, but it was still a little higher than the people around me because I always believed in what I was doing before I did it. Don't just grab numbers out of the air. Look and see what other instructors in your area are charging, but then look at their program. If your program is better than theirs, you should charge more money, and that's just the truth. That's kind of what I did. I looked at some comrades and saw what they were offering. I didn't really care about their prices, but I looked at what they were offering, and when I felt like my quality exceeded the available offerings in a certain area, I raised my price. And then I found something that was comfortable for the student and repeatable for me. And when I put my pricing together as far as the students go, so you can look it up online, it's there. I charge $225 for a 2-hour lesson. Okay, that's 2 hours of my time, just me as an individual lesson, right? One person. The reason I charge $225 is because it's a good price for the student, and it's an investment for the student. They don't come and play at $225. They don't come out here for that 2 hours and kind of screw around or say things like, I forgot my gun, or any. Yes, I've heard that. They don't say stuff like that because it costs them something. They're invested in it. And for me, I've got overhead. I've got a range. I've got a classroom. I've got all that stuff. So I take that into account, and then I take into account what I need as an instructor to compensate me for my time. And so that's where I came up with that. So
Gotcha. Kind of reverse engineer it.
Yeah.
To meet that price.
Yeah.
I think that's a good point. So if any of you guys are trying to be instructors or look at your price point, I would kind of recommend the same thing. Look at and I've said this in a video before, in the YouTube series that we have on how to become a firearms instructor, so you can go and review those videos as well as mindset when it came to me opening up Dropzone, things that I did, which is kind of similar to you. Looked at the environment, set a price point, reverse engineered it, and then being kind of looking inward. Everybody wants to be the humble guys, like, oh, I don't deserve $1,000, whatever. Why not? Why not?
I will say that all of my students who take those courses that pay that, they say, man, that's it.
I get that
and
too.
especially after they take the course, they're like, that should have cost a lot more. I'm not trying to gouge you. Just want it to be reasonable on both sides of it. But yeah. We definitely give more than we charge for sure.
Right, and
that's the other thing to keep in mind. When it's individual and one-on-one, expect to pay more for it.
Yeah.
You're the only one there. They are, and it's not that they're charging you more because it's just you. They're charging you more because it's tailored to you.
It's intentional.
It's intentional.
And I think I'll end with saying that at the end of the day, no matter the price, no matter if you go one-on-one or group, you can't really go wrong. It's who you are as an instructor, your capabilities to teach it, and what the goal is for doing one or the other. Like why one-on-one versus why group, and then making sure that you can feed your family doing it, and then really investing in the student and not just doing it to get a curriculum across or because you can shoot a paper target that's 15 yards down the range and you're not moving or shooting or really doing that. Focus on your craft, what you want to teach, and then push that. But you don't need to be a competitive shooter, a military guy, a law enforcement guy, a private security guy, whatever, to teach this stuff. You just need to be able to have a skill that other people can't do and bridge that gap. At some point, you might be capped out. I tell my students the same thing Jazz tells his students, like, hey, I'm giving you the tools, so when you leave me, you can continue practicing, because I won't be with you in the middle of the night when you want to dry fire, or tomorrow, right? You can't. It's unrealistic to say you can pay for me every single day. Some people may have those funds, some people may don't. It's very unlikely most people do, right? And so it's giving the tools so that person can then use the tools that you give them to move on with their life, not to stay with you every day and night, right? So.
Real quick, if you only take group classes, you should take a one-on-one. And if you only take one-on-one, you should take a group class, because that gets you out of your comfort zone too.
That's a good point.
Yeah, that's a really important aspect of it all. And train with other instructors. We always say that. Please go take another class so you can see why this is the best. And then you can come back, like, man, they don't do that, but yeah, you definitely should mix it up.
Yeah, for sure. But if you want to find more of Jazz Davis, you can look him up. He gave you his address, his business number, who he is, what he does.
Don't show up with no nonsense, because I'm ready all the time.
Modern Gladiator Defense. And if you want to come train with both of us, you can do that as well. You can call either one of us or Dropzone itself, and you know where to find me at. All the links are down below. We'll link his website down below as well, so you can find him there. Jazz, thank you so much
Thank you,
for
bro.
answering questions.
Appreciate it, man.
My followers. Yeah. See you next time.
Have a good one.